Hi there, I'm Katie for RustiKate, and this time around I'm going to be showing you how to make a thread space between rings. Oftentimes patterns will call for a ring a chain, a ring a chain, a ring a chain, or different combinations like that. But some patterns, especially the older ones, they often have a gap of thread between rings and no chains at all. And I've gotten a lot of questions recently on how do you go about doing this, because it can be very difficult. This is a technique I actually use a lot, and I've actually made some substantial pieces with it. I've made sleeves, I've made collars, I've made hats, lots of different things like that. I hope this will be a great skill for you and that you'll really enjoy it and that you'll be able to use it a lot. Alright, so this time I'm going to be showing you two different methods for doing the ring thread method. The first method I'm going to show you is actually my favorite, and it's also the easiest. The result, you end up with two threads each space, as opposed to typically if you see this done with a shuttle, there's one thread, and that method I'll show you later. But this method is just so much easier and faster, and tends to be sturdier too if you're doing a project that's going to be washed a lot. So let me go ahead and show you this method to begin with. You're going to start out by just doing your ring, whatever your pattern calls for. I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 double stitches a picot, 3 double stitches picot, 3 double stitches picot, 3 double stitches. I'm using a little bit larger needle than I normally would. I just wanted to have it be visually a little bit easier to see. Okay, so now I'm ready to close my ring. I'm just going to do that normally for the first ring. Like that. I like to tie it off with a good knot. Okay, and for this one, sometimes I like to tie an extra knot just in case. Pull that good and tight. Okay, now I'm going to make the spacer, and for that I do it kind of in the same way that I would make a really large picot. I'm just going to go ahead and press my finger right here, space it out, and do my first double stitch however far I want that string to be. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and say I want it to be about a ½ inch, so I'm just kind of guesstimating there. That's a ½ inch. I'm going to go ahead and finish my double stitch. And so that's going to be the start of my second ring. So I'm going to do 3 double stitches and then I'm going to join my picot. I do 3 more double stitches, picot, 3 double stitches, picot, and then 3 double stitches, and then close the ring. Okay, now that we're at this step, we're ready to close our ring, and this is where you need to pay close attention to how the threads slide through. So I'm going to go ahead, we are going to bring the needle through that tail thread, but instead of pulling it all the way tight, we're going to pull it up until it's about even, just a little bit larger than that string we left previously. And then at this point I like to do, it's kind of tension, so it's kind of a little bit of trial and error and practice, but I hold the thread back here over these fingers to give it tension. Cross this one underneath so we can kind of see how I have my fingers. And then you're going to pull with these at the same time. I'm pulling with the under fingers while at the same time as holding with this one. So what it's going to do is pull my ring shut without using up this string. So it kind of sustains that spacer. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a knot right here. And then I like to make an extra knot just in case. Right like that. So these are kind of sloppy rings because this needle is too big for the thread, but it just kind of helps you see it a little bit better. Right like that. And it is 2 threads, and you can obviously tell it's 2 threads if you separate them, But if you come back, and this is just going to be a middle section to a pattern, and you're going to come back and do another layer and attach another ring to it on the second row, then it really holds it together and it kind of compresses it as if it's one. So I typically just do this technique because it is going to be a lot faster and easier, and it stays attached to the ball thread, so you can keep going for a lot longer without having to stop and replace your thread. So let me do that one more time, and then I will stop this video and continue in the next video with the second method. So again, we're going to do spacer, like that, and then we'll start our next ring using the same number of stitches as previously. Joining. Just going to go ahead and do these stitches, and I'll slow down when it comes time to actually remove the tatting again. Okay, so here we go again. You can see that one thread spacer. It just kind of has to do with, the whole trick is just getting that tension right between your fingers as you pull it closed. This would actually be a good place to, on YouTube, you can actually go in and slow the speed down and watch it in slow motion, and that might help if you're having a hard time with this. You can see that one right there, and tie an extra knot. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. Please subscribe, comment, like, all of those things would be great. I would love for you to subscribe and stick around with me and come back and watch more videos later.